have 1,600 hours. Well, if that's close enough. Call the meeting to order. And public comment? Yes.
I have some questions about coronavirus, but are you going to be talking about that anyway? Should I hold off before you do?
We can. It's not on the agenda, but we can do that.
Okay, well, last night at the hospital district, I asked them these questions, and they said to ask you guys. That this being Point Roberts, I can see a couple of possible instances that would be problematical. One would be if someone had to go down to Bellingham to get tested and didn't have the ability, didn't have a car or something like that, that probably medical protocol would not include calling Dial-A-Ride to get a ride down to Bellingham if they had those symptoms. And two, if there's someone who is in critical condition who had to be transported down to a hospital, we would want to see a situation where there's a Snoqualmie where there's like 31 firefighters who are in quarantine because they made a call on someone who ended up having COVID-19. So I'm just curious about whether or not the fire district would be involved in either of those instances.
Basically, we've had a meeting with Chief Carlton and with Assistant Chief Shields. And the bottom line is that the first responders are the ones who are really responsible to transport people who need to be transported. Now, that would be for something very, very serious that they couldn't be managed here. We also have guidance that if someone is really sick and want them to come into the clinic, we ask them to remain outside. And if they need to be transported, then we would call for a transport.
Okay.
And it's certainly true that if someone gets exposed and then have to be quarantined, that can happen. But we have to get through this with some logic and calmness and try and not get too hysterical.
So, which I appreciate, but if someone calls up, are they questioned as to, like, in terms of symptoms or something like that, so that the firefighters don't show up with...
Anytime we get anything that's referred to as respiratory or anything like that, we're full PPE, we're masks, glasses, gloves, gowns, everything. Basically, the three big ones that we work on are fever, dry cough, and respiratory problems. So the other thing is, as far as testing, if we suspect somebody, then the Department of Health is called, and they test.
Okay, but I understand that hasn't been, as of last night, hasn't been set up.
At the hospital district, no, but the department, I get bulletins every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning from the Department of Health and Department of Emergency Management. Our guidelines are, if we suspect somebody, they're to stay where they are, advise public health, and we'll get guidance from public health.
Because according to the hospital district, public health is trying to set up one place in Bellingham for testing.
Okay, there's a big difference between that, Bellingham and Point Roberts. In Bellingham, yeah, you could have guys coming from, they don't have to cross the international border.
Right.
So that's the problem. That's what we've already been dealing with that as far as the public health aspect of it. They know where we are, and they've advised us if this happens that we need to contact them, and they will send somebody to do the testing here.
Okay.
Same thing with the quarantine at home. We had somebody say, well, what happens if somebody passes away? They stay in their house. That's where they stay until public health comes and deals with them. They send the guys with the Class A positive pressure tests and evaluate them, and at that point they'll decide what to do with them.
Okay, and has there been outreach from the clinic regarding stay outside?
Well, the outreach from the clinic is that they have to call in for an appointment.
Okay.
And if they have a fever, or if they have a cough, or if they feel really ill and they are having respiratory problems, it's the fire department that gets called. we have to maintain control, and the chief and assistant chief make those decisions. We don't make those. And the general public doesn't make them.
No, but I can see someone showing up, not thinking it's an emergency, and just showing up at the clinic without calling the fire district first.
That could happen.
That could happen.
And if they have a fever, we're going to ask them not to come in the building.
Okay, good, thanks.
You know, I mean, it's the best we can do under the circumstances that we do not have testing materials available. The only thing we can do is have someone take their temperature at this point
Yes.
and see that they're having respiratory distress.
I mean, at District 7 right now, anybody that comes on shift, as far as the crews, when they come on, they're mandated right now to take their temperature before they come on shift and when they leave shift.
Sorry, did you say for your?
For District 7.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they have to they physically, before they go to work in the morning, when they get there, they have to take their temperature, and when they leave their shift at the end, they have to take their temperature again.
Good, thank you. Much more informative than the hospital district.
You want to say something?
Yeah, on the, I asked Chief Shields there, there's people on the point who probably don't plan on extended border closures and about their medications and stuff, how they go about getting those transported here, if they can't get off the point, and how's that in
National Guard.
National Guard?
Just like if they shut the borders down, if we need to have, because if they shut the borders down, we're not going to get food deliveries. So now we've been talking with
MREs?
John Granger for emergency management. Basically, I'm not sure if it's been put into place yet, but basically, just like when we had the Cascadia Rising thing, National Guard flew in some water and food, and they'll do the exact.
What about the drugs?
Yeah, they could do this, probably do the same thing too.
And, you know, not to separate someone out, but Hoagland's will mail any prescription that you have that you need.
If they shut the border down, we're not going to get mail either.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
If
So
they
they
shut the
have to
border.
come by air, by water to get
Yeah,
here.
that's true.
So, I mean, we might be able to get the Coast Guard, might be able to get the Sheriff's Department, fisheries, that type of thing. But National Guard is basically, maybe our primary for anything.
Well, they have to make arrangements to have their drugs some central place
Yep.
in Bellingham or wherever,
Yeah,
and just so they make one stop and not running around.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pick it up.
yeah.
We haven't done this before. This is trial and error.
Yeah, this is
And we will learn a lot from this, just like we did the flood, or the big windstorm. So, you know, but we have to, you know, I think we have to try and get people not to get too upset and hysterical and do things that are going to harm them and other people. So,
A lot of this has the same effect if we had a big earthquake. Something like that.
exactly.
You know, same stuff.
Yeah, same. Okay, any other comments? No? Okay. I want to make a comment that I really would like the record to show how much the chief has put time and energy into trying to help our community be safe. And he has put out many, many, many pieces of information in the various paper and other news facilities around town. And I think that is something that we all appreciate, and I want him to know that. And it goes for our assistant chief as well. So
It's
thank
5
you.
o'clock in the morning, text are getting a little time.
Okay, approval of the minutes. Any corrections or, no?
I make a motion that we accept.
I second the
So,
motion.
we're ready for passage.
So she answers. Oh.
Hello.
Hello, young lady.
Hi,
How are
Patty.
you?
How are you doing? How are you doing, Patty?
Did you hear me?
Hello? Are you here?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Sorry, you were cutting out.
I'm sorry. Okay, so we're ready for your wonderful report.
Oh, great. All right, this month we have March warrants that total $21,461.29. The total for payroll is $16,742.83. And this includes Chief Carlson's salary of $5,278.50, along with Chief Shield's pay of $3,083.33. And there was one event for the commissioners and the secretary. The total payout for the volunteers, including warrants, is $8,962. And I believe the February financial statements have been handed out for your review. So today, we're looking for approval of the warrants and payroll for March.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Yes, I move that warrants totaling $21,461.29 and payroll payments of totaling $16,742.83 both be approved.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, that's passed. Thank you. Next.
Yes, and then I do have a budget update. As of February 29th, 2020, we have 83.36% left in the budget, and that is compared to 84.92% as of the end of February 2019.
Okay. I just have a question. What is the ideation design? Is that for?
Sorry. Oh, I don't have that in front of me.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh.
That's what
Yeah,
it is. Okay, I wasn't
The
sure.
crest and the
Yeah.
designs on the wall.
Well, here, I see, it's ideation design
Yeah.
for
Yeah, that's
$2,000.
what that.
Any questions for Patty? No? Okay, all right.
I thought we had a question about tax stuff. Property tax stuff.
Yeah, but that, I was just gonna call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay. Do you have anything else for us, Patty?
I don't have anything else on the agenda today. No?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You want to stay on and listen to us do nothing?
I would, yes, I would.
We have the chief's report next.
Okay, so points of interest, Saturday we are having the blood drive is here. And we are waiting to hear back on two grants that we've put out, one for firehouse subs and one to the Medic One Foundation, so we're waiting to hear back if we've been awarded those. We have no reports for any of the apparatus for this month. We have 42 members currently on the roster, 24 which are Canadian, 10 which are Point Roberts, 8 which are county, which is made up of 5 paramedics, 8 EMTs, which 5 of them are advanced EMTs, 3 ambassadors, and 34 firefighters. Total hours for the volunteers last month were 2,437. If everybody was getting paid, the payroll would be $11,047. Chief's hours, Chief Carlton had 180 hours. I had 137.5 for a total of 317.5 hours. We had a total of 37 calls last month. 13 EMS calls, which we transported 3 to Bellingham. We had 9 wheel transports, 1 to North Whatcom. We had 19 CARES calls. We had 4 public assists. We had 1 fire classification, which were down power lines. And that's the end of the chief.
Okay, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, we'll accept that. Thank you very much. Unfinished business.
I just had one funny little,
We don't have funny little things.
Well, I normally sit in the seats that our guests are sitting in, looking this way. And when I sit here now, looking at that wall, I'm really impressed with how good that logo looks up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really fantastic. That just looks great. I'm not looking at it from this perspective,
Well,
and it's
I
really good.
like it all. I think this is great. You
Yeah.
learn so much from
The
it.
whole thing is really looking good. I just congratulate all the work that's been put into that.
When did it go up?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that.
Is it made out of wood or plastic? Or what?
That's a combination of veneer and I think it's polymer, I believe.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I mean, the whole thing is so warm now, warmer,
Yeah.
a lot warmer than it used to be.
It takes
Yes.
away that coldness of a white wall.
Oh,
And this is going to become our EMS wall over here.
oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, our next stage.
It looks great.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? No. Would you like to have any new business?
Is
Okay.
the trailer issues,
Well, we are in the process of determining insurance coverage for PrEP, and some of that coverage has covered the emergency, CERT emergency response trailer that we are preparing to transfer to the fire district for ownership. And so we basically are in the process of dropping insurance company for the trailer in anticipation of making that change. So that's moving forward. As president of PrEP, given the COVID-19 situation, I have suspended all meetings. I've suspended all membership and board meetings until guidance from CDC changes. We have lots of people who are elderly and in the high-risk category. So given that, we're not going to congregate, but we are going to maintain continuity of operation, and we are going to do that through electronic means and through telephone and so on. So we have a plan in place, and I expect lots of organizations around Point Roberts are going to probably take similar action. It makes sense. We can still get things done, and we expect to get things done. I guess there is one other item as well that's germane to the fire district. About a little over 13 months ago, as also in my capacity as president of PrEP, we applied to FEMA for a disaster assistance for some storm damage from the windstorm of December 2018 to our antenna system on the community center. That has worked through the FEMA process over more than a year, and a far better mitigated solution was agreed to that would basically construct a self-standing communications tower here on fire district land that would become part of fire district property. Chief Carlton has approved the use of the land, and FEMA has granted us $53,000 in federal money. We're also getting something over $8,000 in state money from the state military department emergency management division. And if there's any more money that it costs, it's going to have to be raised locally, but I think that that will be sufficient money to get the job done. So we should actually be in possession of the funds within about 10 days. The check is in the mail. So basically, we're going to be moving ahead on that. How that's all going to work in the new context of COVID-19 and how that affects various things and border crossings, it could have a dramatic impact on this effort, obviously. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But from my perspective, the whole point of doing this is to move toward developing a separate emergency operations center here for Point Roberts on this property. And this communications component will be a key element of that EOC. That's where it's heading to, and that was the point of getting it in the first place. So that's what we're doing.
How tall, sorry, how tall will it be?
85 feet.
Is there any zoning issues with that?
No, not because it will be part of the fire district, and there is a zoning provision that waives those restrictions for emergency auxiliary communications equipment.
I'm sorry, you said how many feet?
85. It's a U.S. all-steel telescoping tilt tower. So it enables us to bring it down, tilt it over, do maintenance on it. It basically has lower maintenance costs and doesn't require a climber to make any changes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So it does not require guy wires, am I correct?
No.
Okay.
No, it's self-standing. And it's the only tower of that type made that passes the very stringent county building permit requirements of withstanding 110 mile an hour winds for 3 seconds. So that's pretty good.
What happens in 4 seconds?
3 is bad enough, don't make it worse. So yes, we do have to go through the building permit, the construction permit process. And we are we have already raised these issues with county planning and development, and they know exactly what we're doing, and they've given us guidance as to how we're going to make this work.
So is it normally up or normally down?
It's normally up.
And how many sections is it?
5,
5 sections.
yeah.
It's normally up to the top of up to 85 feet?
Yeah. Yeah, so it comes in 5 sections, telescoping, and when it's down, it's about 23 feet tall. It's not bad.
Does it have to be cemented in somewhere?
Oh, yes,
or-
absolutely. It's basically a case on base.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
In relationship to all this communication thing,
Yeah.
that includes moving the trailer that Serge has
Yes.
to this location
Yes.
and become property of the fire department.
Indeed. Indeed. That's a separate board action. It needs to take place. We have to do the insurance first, and then we'll do the transfer.
Are the radios for that you have in that trailer now? I'm presuming you have radios in there?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, are they going to stay in the trailer?
I'm sorry?
Are they going to stay in the trailer or are they?
The radios for the trailer stay in the trailer.
Okay.
The radios that will be connected to the communications tower I've been discussing will have to be in a structure, a shelter for operators, and all those radios will also be permanently mounted within that structure.
Is that going to be outside or inside the building then?
It's going to, all this is going to be on along the west edge of the parking lot here, west edge of this property, adjoining the water district land, just a little bit south of the north edge. Yeah.
Okay.
And basically that's where the tower will be, and behind the tower, hopefully we'll be able to come up with a shelter as kind of the first step toward actually building an EOC with some additional structures.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anything else? Nope. I'm going to entertain an adjournment.
Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn from this.
I second the motion.
at 16:25.